Hello everyone, it's Nikki Batgirl D'Angelo here for another Bensday with Batgirl Ben, and of course I'm joined by Ben Lesnick. How are you, Ben?
Hey, not too bad. How are you doing?
Great. If we could just get this bandwidth issue fixed between the two of us. I guess the pipelines are all stuffed up between here and California, huh?
Yeah, we're sending some large files to the UK right now. That may be it.
Oh, you are? Is it, are you guys all ready for the, So it is on your side. Okay, that makes sense. So that must be the files that you're sending up there for the demo.
Well, we hope so.
You hope so?
At least parts of it are going well.
Yeah. So my thought process isn't going to be that far off because this is definitely going to be a presentation that has a lot to do with Squadron 42, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. So you by now have seen the list of actors and actresses that are taking part in the in the performance, the full motion full motion capture. Now you're not going to give it away to us because we don't want that to happen. But is there anybody that you're really excited about? And we'll try to figure that out for the next show.
You're not getting anything from me.
I'm not
Yes,
looking for you. I'm just looking. Are you?
exciting.
Does one particularly excite you more than the others, or are you just like wow on all of them?
Well, as you know, I am a huge, lifelong fan of Sandy Gardner. So the fact that she's involved is what makes this project great.
I think we're all Sandy fans here, right? Okay. So Sandy is top bill. That means
No.
what? So no David
I'm
Warren.
going to ask about this. Sandy is not top bill.
Yeah,
But,
John Rice Davies, Matt Damon. You got him from The Martian? No, I can't wait to. What?
He does like playing astronauts.
Yes. Well, yeah. Okay. That would be good, but I don't think that Chris had the time to go find Matt Damon. So we had a lot going on, and the biggest thing that you guys have done the last couple of weeks is the finally the release of the Endeavor. And I have a question for you going around the Endeavor, and this is from me, Nikki Batgirl D'Angelo. You've been involved pretty much with designing the ships, and when we say designing the ships, you're designing what the ship is supposed to be in the universe, and then it goes on to the artists that create it. How has that process changed for you since the beginning of the project, from then until now? Like, what resources did you have back then, and what resources do you have now that make it easier for you?
We had absolutely no resources back then. We kind of planned our initial wave of ships based on how ships worked in Wing Commander, because I know those statistics from forward and back in my head. Yeah. Now when you go into the very, very initial ship creation process, you kind of have a much more realistic idea of, okay, it needs to, you have this pantheon of giant spreadsheet of ships. You need to know, you can tell exactly where it fits in, what components it will have. It's a bunch more technical just because of the level of the design we've gotten to now. But at heart, it's still the same. You try to think up a ship that will excite people, that will interest people, that will add something to the universe. Go from there.
All right. So how is the adoption of the component system, or specifically the components that are now in the game, changed your thought process when thinking up the ships? Is there a limit on what you could do in a ship because of those components that have to go in there?
No. I am a big fan of having rules to something. It's why I like Twitter and Instagram so much. They have that very specific, you need to say something funny in 140 characters. You need to have a good picture that's exactly a square and tinted yellow and so on. So I like having going into this with a rule set of how it slots into the world. I think it's actually a lot easier than the early stuff where we're like, what's the world like? We don't know. But yeah.
Okay. So, in the beginning, it seemed like we had a lot. The first 5 ships, we had a Constellation, we had a Cutlass, we had a Hornet, we had, and I'm going to start losing it, a 300i, and what was the last one?
Then you see the Aurora?
The Aurora. So we had those first 5 ships, and since then we've been getting a lot of more of these detail-oriented ships. Like now we have this science/hospital ship, we have a mining ship. Is there a class of ship that hasn't been touched or designed yet that you would think about bringing into the game in the future?
At this point, it's all smaller stuff. I think we're getting to the point where we want to take our physics system, all the rules we've come up with in the past couple of years, and start filling in the gaps. There's some smaller ships that I would like to do I would love to see a minesweeper or a miner, not a mining ship, but a mine layer. Yeah. I had an idea for something early on called the Hornet Sniper that would have been a long-range interceptor. So it fights everything with missiles at a distance. But variations on existing ships rather than totally new ideas.
Okay.
But if we come up with something, we'd be happy to add it.
So, did you ever think about making one ship that could break into four smaller ships, or have 4 smaller ships that all look like lions that turn into Voltron? No, sorry.
I'm going to be honest with you. I actually hate it when ships in sci-fi break apart. It's a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah. Well, you have this ship that breaks apart.
It does, but I hope in a more realistic way than it's 5 fighters and it splits into one big fighter.
Okay. Now I'm going to throw a couple in between our conversation. I'm going to try to keep this one short to keep you on track. Premium Shank, who is Renegade Shank in our organization, the Enablers, he wants to know, is there a chance to fix the emblem and ship skin for Operation Pitchfork to be changed from 3 prongs to 4 prongs? I guess he's talking about the trident that they used as 4 prongs instead of 3, like Poseidon's.
Yes, I'm pretty sure we need the people who created the original logo to sign off on us using it.
Okay.
But if you reach out to me, we can make that happen. We'd love for it to be the correct logo. Okay,
so you heard that, Shank. Get Sailor in touch with Ben, and he'll get that fixed. The second one is, I know that you... I'm trying to figure out this one right here. It's Pappy Boynton again. The Endeavour Explorer has what inside? And he's talking about the Explorer, like the front part of it. Yeah, like you started to allude to it the other day. That you said that's where all the shielding and armor is. But what exactly is in that section besides that very vanilla-looking cockpit for now, which actually looks awesome?
We actually wanted to be kind of a Star Trek-style bridge, so we're moving towards that. But okay. It's the idea is it's crammed full of components. It's got the backup engines, it's got shield generators, it's essentially so many components in there that are dedicated towards its normal function that you can't turn it into a Carrack, basically.
Okay.
So there's no room for a jump drive. But it's mostly shielding and engines.
And are there rooms and berthing compartments?
It has the habitat area for the base crew also.
Okay, I was thinking that the habitat area was something that you'd have to pull and put into one of those nodes. But that's good. So there's at least... You
get your basic beds and things in the front part, and if you want to add a larger crew, I think there's a component for that, a module for that.
Are you going to start making like the ships with their own captain's area? So the captain had like the bigger ships, right?
Yeah, like a couple of them have that.
Okay.
This 890, I think both have captain's messes.
I always think of Picard's quarters and all the different models of the Enterprise, and going back to the tall ships from way back in the day, that being a place to decorate and have on your own ship. The second question of his is, the Endeavour has a turning lab, the particle accelerator. He wants to know, would this be the top tier lab, or are there different labs that you can get with it?
We see that as the top tier.
I guess that's top tier lab in the game.
We see it as kind of the it's the most precise overclocking system.
Okay.
And then you have a Pantheon going all the way. You have a system going all the way down to the individual workbenches for hangars.
All right. What's your thought process on the science of that particle accelerator being used for overclocking? Is it just to make it work, or do you have your own idea on how that happens?
My thought behind the science is that it's wrong. It's probably not supposed to be called a particle accelerator. We're in the process of figuring out what the right term is.
Okay.
I think I mentioned in the Q&A today.
All right.
We've heard from some physicists So,
Yeah, well, we probably have a lot of physicists in this game, right?
we do.
Yeah, and that's
We have a lot of
nothing.
actual physicists and a lot of armchair physicists.
There's nothing wrong. We have an armchair physicist in my group at the company I work for, in the region I work for them in, and he's actually probably better than most of them in the field. Pretty cool. The art of the hangar shows 2 pods above the hangar on each side with probes coming out. Does this come standard with the hangar? I guess he's talking about the module and the vault picture.
So the stuff in the vault is earlier versions. We'd initially concepted a smaller hangar with pod bays, similar to 2001. We wanted to do little pods. In fact, you can see some of the pods themselves in the vault update.
So we're not going to have pods?
We will have pods, but not now. We want to give them a little bit more time to design gel-wise. So it's a single larger hangar, fits more ships. So hopefully you're happy with that, and we'll bring back the pods down the road.
Wouldn't the pods make more sense on something like the Crucible? You know, going out to help repair ships and stuff.
Well, you're going to see the Crucible soon, and you won't think it should have pods.
Okay,
but,
all right. I won't think it should have pods. Okay.
Basically, there should be a drone system that we'll need for a bunch of different ships.
Okay.
Once we prepare that,
that'll make sense.
Podded.
Are there other larger modules planned that use 3 attach points?
Planned in the very roughest sense.
Okay.
We have not actually launched those yet. I think somebody was playing around with like a super weapons platform version that we're not doing. That was huge. So no giant pods in the near future.
Okay. Anthony Brown wants to know, can you tell me how hailing and ship security will work in your mind? Because we know that they're not designed yet, and that has to come from Tony Z at some point. But what do you think? Like, how will they work in the future?
I don't want to speculate on that one because they're in the process of enabling that now in Austin. So I will.
Oh, they are?
I will not. I will not backseat drive that one.
And that's a big Tony Z thing, I take it?
Yeah, that's very much appreciated.
All right. But I mean, Chris has spelled some of that out in his 10 for the Chairman in the past. Do the things that he said on 10 for the Chairman ever get looked at by that group when they're trying to come up with things? Because you know, if it's not, there's a million people that listen that are going to start saying, but you said.
If you do, any design that comes out of Austin or anywhere, it's going to get vetted by Chris. And if you do something against what he's been promising the community, you will hear about it.
Okay. Now, we know that there's a live stream coming out of the Citizen Con from Manchester this year. What are you folks there in Santa Monica and in Austin and other parts of the country going to be doing at that time? You're going to be watching it from home, or are you going to be getting together at the office together to watch it?
Oh, no, we're having a little party here at the office. Actually, we're having a pre-party Friday night, and then folks are going to come in here. We're going to watch together. These things are a big deal for the team. You see me and you see Sandy reacting to it, but it's the hard work of 200 people, and they are as excited as anyone to see Chris show off what they've been doing.
Okay. So during your live stream, where you and Jared had the blue hair and everybody came around the office watching you. First off, let's see your hands and let's see if they're still stuck in like that. Yeah, they're not. Yeah.
Hands are fine.
I remember playing that game and my hands being like this because of trying to get through some of the missions you did. What's your most memorable moment of that? I guess it was 6 hours or 8 hours, right? Or was it 10?
Just over 8 hours, 8.5 hours.
Yeah, 8.5 hours. What's your most memorable moment of that whole process of taking down the first wing commander?
I mean, it has to be winning Kurosawa 2 in the one single shot. That was one for the ages. I didn't think I could do that.
And it's caught.
That last mission was cool. I mean, the way, if you watch the way I flew that last mission, that is what makes Wing Commander great, because naturally your performance defines how the mission's going to start. I'd lost my wingman, so it was always harder. And then, there was no forced drama. It came about naturally. You know, I had all but 2 of my laser cannons knocked off. No shields. It was a great great action story without having any kind of script. So
Right.
that's one of those great Chris Roberts build the system first things. Of course, playing with Chris right there was pretty neat.
Yeah, that was neat. I had to go back and watch that because I missed that live.
I'm talking to Dennis Dubé. Hearing that Chris has not changed in 25 years is fun. But no, I had a great time. We can't wait to do Secret Missions. We're going to do it December 5th.
Oh, awesome. I'm going to have to watch that. I played through the game just because you did, so now I'm going to have to go and do the Secret Missions. So the reason I had you bring that up is because to close out the show, I want to talk a little bit about expectations, and I don't expect you to give away anything because that's not why I ask these questions. But that statement that you just made about Chris's old games, specifically the Wing Commander, is what I signed on for here, you know, with the Squadron 42 coming out from him. Now, how much of that same feeling do we expect to see? Like, you talked about that mission. You lost your wingman and you had to fly it differently. Are we going to see missions that are going to give us those same frustrations? Or is it going to be a little bit different this time, Matt? Is it going to be more linear?
No, if we do our job right, it's going to be the modern version of Wing Commander 1. And everything I've seen so far says we're on track for that.
And should we see something that shows us that this week, or is this going to be more basic?
I don't want to spoil anything.
All right.
So.
No, I don't want I'm looking at, like, how far along are we? I know that we don't have a release date yet, but obviously we have performance capture, and we're still trying to work out the ins and outs of the CryEngine, right? Getting everything worked out.
Yeah, I mean, you'll hear a lot about our long-term plans. Maybe no release dates, but you'll hear ideas, and you'll see. I don't want to say what you'll see, but it's cool.
Okay. Well, that's great. I know that you are getting a lot of stuff uploaded over to Manchester and running the office back here, like our joke, the first take that we had of this. What does it feel like to be in charge of Santa Monica for, what is it, only a few weeks left before you guys are over in the other office?
A couple, hopefully end of this month, beginning of next. Let's say December.
Okay. So you guys going to have your own studio for ATV, or is that going to be the same thing there?
Oh no, we've got a whole stage. We'll do ATV on there. We'll also do the other shows, and we'll do pickup mocap. It'll be great.
Awesome. That is great. Ben, thank you for taking your time out this day, which is only 3 days before the big event. I really appreciate it, and we'll get back next week with a bunch of questions about what happened there.
That sounds good. Hopefully they'll be positive.
Well, they will be positive. We know. We'll cross our fingers. We hope the demo gods do not cause any kind of havoc. Yeah. All right. And Ben, thank you very much for joining us again. And remember, guys, get those questions in. You got 2 ways. Leave your questions down below in the comments section, and make sure you click that like button so people watch us. The second way is send them in to starcitizenaa@gmail.com with Bensday in the subject field, and watch Ben give all his thumbs up and finger waving. Wait, when you gotta do your finger choose. Yeah. All right, and that's it. Ben, thanks again. And with that said, you all be safe out there, and I'll talk to you soon.